Bar none. It is one of the most crucial business and economic hubs in the nation, home to huge corporations like McDonald's and Boeing. It's also one of the most, if not the most, crime-plagued cities on record. Violence in Chicago stubbornly high. Vicious crimes reported in January, matching the bloody start we saw last year. So imagine being a Chicago-based CEO of an international company. You're trying to host all kinds of people that's been a target of protests itself from the economic side. So you need a hockey player to deal with something like that. You know, the blows are raining down. Terry Duffy is chairman and CEO of the world's largest futures market operator, the CME Group. Big businesses, Terry. What is their obligation? Because Donald Trump has said, fine, I'll send in the feds if Chicago can't fix its problem. Can business fix it before it comes to something like that?
Well, I'm not quite sure about that, Liz. You know, my comments around business being a part of the solution, I just think it's morally incumbent upon all of us to participate in our communities that we live. So when I said that, I just think we need to all do our part. And that's exactly what CME has done, not just since I made those comments, but we've been doing it for the last 30, 40 years. And that, to me, is what's important. We all need to do our part. And as I said, when I was talking about that particular issue, whether it's big or small, if everybody does something, we will advance the situation.
Of course, in the CME, you've given to schools, public schools. You guys have done your part, definitely. But look, the rule of law is one of the biggest friends and biggest lures of any company who wants to do business in the United States. And on balance, we have that. But, you know, everybody says, I talk to people who live in Chicago. I got a lot of friends there. And some of them say, Liz, it's almost like the worst part of the crime is ring-fenced to, you know, the certain parts of the south side of Chicago. But who cares, Terry? Everybody deserves a shot.
Yep.
At this life and at
Absolutely.
the life somebody like you and your children have been able to have. So how do we get there?
Well, you're absolutely right. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, Liz, so I know exactly what they're referring to. And as far as it being ring-fenced, I think that's a bit of a misdirect. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the suburbs, and it's not just in Chicago, Liz. I mean, we have problems throughout this country. And again, these are problems that have occurred over a period of time, and you're not going to fix them overnight. But if we don't start addressing them, they will eventually get to a point where they're going to be unfixable, and the youth of our society will have absolutely no chance.
Okay, but going back to what I already referenced, and that was when Donald Trump threatened Chicago, saying, and he put out this tweet, and he used the word carnage. And it is. I have to tell you, when you look at the numbers, 228 shootings and 42 killings, just in 2017 alone, I will send in the feds. That can't be good for business.
Well, it's not good for Chicago. I mean, not just business. It's not good for Chicago.
But I understand his
frustration.
I understand that. What are we doing to fix this? Look, L.A.'s gotten better. New York has gotten fantastically better. Yep.
Well, I think Chicago has had, you know, for good or bad, whether it's folklore or not, a history of crime and the old Al Capone days. So now you take it to where we're at today. This is not just a Chicago problem. This is a problem that's a global problem in nature. And, you know, it's all through the U.S. So right now, I don't want to say just because it's ring fence it's okay, because it's not.
Of course.
So that was my point. We have a moral obligation to do things. CME is part of that obligation. We are doing things. We're a huge supporter of the Chicago Public Schools. One of the things that I think needs to happen, Liz, is you have to give safe passage. If you give children safe passage to and from school,
yes,
then they'll be able to learn and move forward in society. But when they are afraid to leave their home even to go to school,
terrible,
they have absolutely no chance. So you've got to give them safe passage.
Before we go, you got a dog in the Super Bowl fight, Terry?
No, and I don't have to worry about my Chicago Bears being in it either, I guess, anytime soon. So no dog in the hunt there, Liz. Who are you rooting for?
Cleveland Browns, aren't they in it?
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns. They're going to do just fine.
Yeah. My crew calls them the Cleveland Clowns, and I resemble that remark. Meanies. Listen, it's great to see you.
Do you remind everybody, Liz, whoever's in a Super Bowl World Series, that's where you're from. Remember that.
Yes. Good to see you, Terry.